What is the Vertplanter, and should you own one? Let's take a look at this. Let me first start off by saying this video is sponsored in that Vertplanter sent me one of these at no charge. I also got an affiliate link and a coupon code for you guys to save 12% off, so check that out down in the description of the video. But first, I want to show you the unboxing of it and my process with it. I tried several different things to give you guys a good test run, and I don't know, let's see if we like it. So let's go back about 2 weeks and check out the unboxing. When you receive your Vertplanter, it will come in this big box and very, very well packaged. Then you're going to get the actual planter itself, and it's a really heavy clay pot. And you might notice some imperfections. I don't know if they're actually hand done. And this is the base, which will have the little stamp right here. And this is one of the little imperfections I noticed with mine on the base, but that's not going to affect anything. And there's a little bit of discoloration, and I think that's just from the glaze. And then this is your lid to go on top. You'll also get a little guide that has some instructions and different things that you can do with it. So we're gonna do what I like to call the chia pet type theory, I guess. Right now I'm like really kind of skeptical of how it's gonna work, but that's why we do these product reviews and see how well it will do. I am going to be using these hard red wheat seeds from Patriot Seeds. I love my Patriot supply. That's where I get a lot of my microgreen seeds from. And to help make them stick to this, I have been letting my seeds soak. It does suggest that if this is wet, that you'll get a better stick. I'm gonna go ahead and run this under water real quick and let her soak up some water. That soaked up so much water really, really quickly. It was very thirsty, and it got quite a bit heavier actually as it's absorbing the water into the clay. It could be the seeds that I'm using. We're not really sure if they're going to really stick on here. So we will see. I'm just gonna kind of pat them on. Oh, and it looks like we've got some sticking. So I'm gonna gently pick this up and put it in the middle. And I noticed if you don't sit it just perfectly in, that it can sit a little crooked. All right, now I measured out the water already, so we're gonna put this water in here. It should be enough light from the units behind me to be able to give it what it needs to start to grow. And I'm really hoping these don't just dry out and fall off. And if they do, then this was not a good choice, and I'll be grabbing a different type of seed, or we'll take a plant that I already have and see if we can wrap it. Here's try number 1. Okay, Houston, we have a problem. So it's been several days now, I think about 5, and you can see we are getting some growth, but a lot of them are wanting to fall off and not stay where they're supposed to be. But this is not my concern, as you can see them falling down in there. this is my concern. I am getting mold. That is fuzz that is growing on the edge of this, and it is happening everywhere. So because of the mold issue, I'm going to be taking these off. I'm not going to continue to let them go. You can see how uneven this is as well. What I'm gonna do is pull a plant from one of my gardens. I'm gonna wrap the base of it in here with the roots. We'll try the rubber bands around it and see if we can get it to really feed the plant just some water and just use it as a nice pot. All right, so we're gonna try this. This is my nasturtium dwarf Alaska plant that was in one of my iHarvest tower gardens. And we're gonna see if we can wrap this around the plant as one of the other instructions said. And they do show it with the dirt. We're gonna do it with the rapid rooter. Now, the trick is to do what they say with wrapping this with a rubber band. So I'm going to turn this to its side. I'm going to lay this next to it, and I'm going to keep it to the base of the planter. Well, here we are the next morning after transplanting, and my plant is absolutely 100% dying and not happy. There is not enough water for the roots, a little bit down there, but this plant is gonna die if I leave it in here any longer. I'm taking it out and putting it back into the hydroponic system. These leaves are really thin and frail, and yeah, it's just dying. So the only other thing I can think of at this point, this is kind of what I just did with this, where I rubber banded it. So you can see I have been following the instructions. First seeds that I tried were the wheatgrass seeds, which it does specifically say like the buckwheat. So, and flax, which is pretty much the same type of seed. Those did not work. And then the chia seeds, which were similar to the little ones that I used and also did not work. And here are your other options again, as far as what types of plants you can put on it, or just wrapping your plants around the base of it, having a plant next to it, wrapping around. These are different options that you can do. The only thing I can possibly think of doing at this point, I think I'm going to fill this with some Coco Coir brick and maybe put some seeds right around the edge and actually plant a plant from beginning to end in this Vertplanter. But for right now, I have tried 3 different methods of planting in this, and I'm not really sure what else to do. All right, now that you've seen my attempts at trying to get this to work, I put my plant back in my nasturtium, if you can say that. That is back into the actual unit, and the whole top of it is pretty much dead. The rubber bands did that plant no good whatsoever. Maybe instead of using rubber bands, you could use some kind of a twine. I do know from just other pictures of it and their own advertisements that people put orchids on them. I don't grow them, so I don't know if this would be, that be all end all planter for an orchid. It could possibly work. I went ahead and I added some of the Coco Coir brick that I have. I love having big, huge bags of Coco Coir. I'll put a link to the one that I purchased down below. It's really nifty to have around the house because it's different than just a soil base and introducing soil into your house. Because it's dry and you add water to it, you don't have to worry about bug larvae or anything like that. So side note on the Coco Coir, I ended up putting seeds all the way around the edge. So I'm doing like little kale microgrowing seeds around the bottom, and then we're gonna put this back up on top and just let it kind of do its thing. I also want to point out another thing that was very frustrating with this. It's still frustrating every time I do this. I'm very anal. I like things straight. I like things even. I like things to look good. And this sits in here. And this has nothing to do with the dirt that is in here now. It's packed down. But this does sit crooked a lot of times if you don't sit and play with it just perfectly to kind of get it lined up. And that can be a little frustrating when it looks like you have a leaning tower of Pisa on your table. So now that you've seen how this works, and there's really no other research out there, no other videos on YouTube on the Vertplanter. So I hope this was enough information for you to make the decision. I'm not gonna tell you not to buy it. I really am not gonna say that because there are a whole bunch of ways that you can grow with this. My personal experience, I could live with it, but I could live without it. I don't think it's like this pot that's going to be, I need 10 of them because it's so awesome. I'm very, very thankful they sent me one. I'm really grateful that I was able to grab a coupon code for you guys so you could get 12% off if you decide to purchase it. You can also snag them for full price over on Amazon. I'll have a link to that down below. And maybe you have a better idea for it. Maybe you say, Angie, I could do this way better than you could. Then please do that and leave comments down below and let me know what you grew with your Vertplanter. If you're interested in more product reviews for your indoor gardening, check out this next video.